Welcome back, everyone. For day 6, we're stepping right into the digital battlefield. In today's explainer, we're taking a high-stakes tour through what I like to call the futuristic Cybersecurity Command Center. If you've been wondering exactly where you fit into this rapidly expanding world of cyber defense, well, you are in the exact right place. Because cybersecurity, it's not just one monolithic job. It's a massive, multifaceted operation that requires very different mindsets. And today, we're going to break down the primary career pathways you can take to jumpstart your journey.
So, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to explore 4 distinct stations: the Security Operations Center, vulnerability assessment and penetration testing, governance, risk and compliance, and bug bounty hunting. Then we'll wrap up with the essential foundational skills you need for all of them. Let's dive in.
First up, Station 1, the Security Operations Center, or SOC. These are our defenders.
Think of SOC Analyst as the absolute critical first line of defense against active threats. And the career progression here, it's actually highly structured. Every single level builds directly on the last. If you're starting out in Tier 1, say 0 to 2 years of experience, you are right on the front lines. Your main job is rapid alert triage and escalating suspicious events. Then you step up to Tier 2, where you're handling active incident response and really digging into the deep analysis of complex attacks. By the time you hit Tier 3, with 5 or more years under your belt, you're the elite. You've moved from just reacting to alerts to proactively hunting for advanced hidden threats and conducting deep digital forensics. Now, let's ground this in some real-world data. According to the recent SONS SOC survey, hiring managers are desperately trying to fill some very specific technical gaps. Just look at these deficits. We're seeing a 14% gap in information systems and network security, another 14% tied in risk management, and a 12% deficit in digital forensics. To put that into perspective, if you want to make yourself absolutely invaluable and secure one of those high-level SOC positions, this is exactly where you should be focusing your technical training right now. Moving right along to Station 2, Vulnerability Assessment and Penetration Testing, VAPT for short. These are the attackers. So if the SOC is playing defense, VAPT professionals have to think exactly like cybercriminals. They are actively discovering weaknesses before the actual bad guys can exploit them. We've got a very sharp contrast in this ecosystem. Over on the offensive side, you have the red team. They simulate real-world attackers and often operate completely covertly. Then on the defensive side, you have the blue team, like our SOC analyst from earlier, providing that continuous 24/7 monitoring and incident response. VAPT professionals live on that red team side, constantly, proactively stress testing an organization's digital infrastructure. But make no mistake, this isn't just chaotic hacking. VAPT follows a highly structured methodology. You always start with planning and scoping, which is immediately followed by information gathering. Then you run your vulnerability assessment. Step 4 is the really exciting part. That's where the actual penetration testing happens during the exploitation and post-exploitation phase. And finally, you wrap the whole thing up with reporting and remediation. It's a complete professional life cycle that takes initial reconnaissance and turns into actionable, real-world security fixes. All right, let's pivot to Station 3, Governance, Risk and Compliance, the architects. GRC professionals are the strategic masterminds who ensure that security policies actually enable and protect the business's core objectives. As you step into a mid-level or senior GRC role, it becomes a lot less about tactical, hands-on execution, and much more about taking true strategic ownership of an organization's overall risk posture. You're focusing heavily on risk resilience and stopping what's known as compliance drift. Essentially, you become the vital bridge between the deeply technical engineering teams and the executive boardroom. And to build that bridge effectively, well, you need a really deep understanding of critical regulatory frameworks. We're talking about things like SOC 2, ISO 27001, NIST, PCI DSS, and GDPR. A successful GRC professional literally has to command these frameworks to navigate incredibly complex compliance audits and to design policies that keep the company legally and operationally secure.
Next up, Station 4, Bug Bounty Hunting, the mercenaries.
Now, these folks are the freelance vulnerability hunters. They operate completely outside the traditional corporate structure. And honestly, bug bounty programs create this amazing win-win scenario. On one side, organizations get to crowdsource their security testing. On the other side, independent researchers are invited to legally identify and responsibly report flaws in web applications. And the best part? In exchange for finding and reporting these vulnerabilities, these hunters can earn some seriously lucrative payouts.
Because it's highly independent, freelance security research, it really requires a relentless, almost obsessive curiosity. You need a genuine passion for finding the tiny, obscure bugs that automated scanners and internal teams completely miss. If you are the kind of person who loves solving complex puzzles and working entirely on your own schedule, driven by a reward-based system, this path is incredibly exciting.
Finally, we arrive at Station 5, Essential Cybersecurity Skills, the foundation.
Because look, no matter where you want to go in the command center, whether you're defending in the SOC, breaking things in VAPT, architecting policies in GRC, or hunting bugs as a freelancer, mastering these core skills is absolutely non-negotiable for long-term success. You've got to understand networking protocols in Linux environments. You need a rock-solid grasp of security fundamentals and ethical hacking basics. And, just as importantly, you need sharp problem-solving logic and effective communication skills so you can actually translate complex technical threats into clear business impacts.
So, we've officially mapped the battlefield for Day 6. The defenders, the attackers, the architects, and the mercenaries. The cyber landscape is expanding every single day. And the only question left for you is this: are you going to be the one building the walls or the one breaking them down? The command center is waiting. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and we will see you next time.